On.
Did you format?
I did. I did.
Oh, where did we do it?
Wait, deja vu.
It's over there.
I'm Morey White.
I'm Bob Nelson. I'm 5 Matt.
I'm Tracey White.
I don't know what's going on.
5 Matt. 4 Matt.
I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Conversation Podcast.
The corniest joke that we've ever had on this thing.
We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
And
Come on back.
we were visiting friends on the way back from Gaylord. Sorry, I'm cutting in on your time, but this was
No, that's
funny.
all right.
And going into the format thing, they were visiting a friend, and she had a bunch of tulips there, and I'm.
Did they have 3 lips?
I asked her if she upgraded to 4 lips.
Womp, womp.
Corn. Corn on a Monday.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Well, you know what? Why don't we just do we keep our order? Go ahead, Bob. You already start rolling, man.
Sure.
How are you doing, Bob Nelson?
I am doing great. Joy and I did our get a stay over at the Gaylord and had a wonderful time.
Yeah, great.
And I learned a new skill. I'm really good at sea shanties.
Okay. Care to demonstrate?
I will in a second. So I kind of set it up though a little bit. And I do need to say there's a little bit of language in the movie, not too much, and like nothing bad. But The Fisherman's Friend and Friends has some great music on it. These guys sing so wonderfully for it. But as I'm singing along with the sea shanties towards the end, Joy goes, "You're not going off tune or anything. You can do sea shanties." So let me see if I can get this right.
Do we have to bleep anything?
No, it's not the greatest sea shanty. And when you look at and watch the movie, you're like, "Oh, that's probably not the best example." But we're gonna go with it anyway because it's the one I remember. What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning?
Hey!
You need to hear Michael's recording. It's on one of his albums. Yep. He's got that at the end. He's got a whole.
That is awesome.
Early
Early in the morning.
Oh, I think I might have turned it up too much. Early in the morning. Yep.
Yeah. Whew, hot mic.
Hot mic.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah, but yeah, we had a great
Glad
time.
to-
Wonderful getting away. So.
That's
That's
awesome.
amazing. You got to do that on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we've tried, but they keep pushing our cruises back.
Keep canceling it.
They're canceling the
you.
cruises, yeah.
Darn the
We can't
Rona.
get away.
That's okay, though.
Well, all right, now hot back one. Boom. How you doing,
Back
Morey?
one.
Feeling better?
I got a little bit of a headache today, but that's a wonderful thing because that means that my sinuses are clearing out.
Okay.
Which is always a good thing. Had a sinus infection, y'all. That's what that's about. Am I over here?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what that's about. So,
Yeah, but you bounced back pretty good. You were,
I was in pretty bad shape there for a little bit.
Yeah.
that's what Julie said.
I was surprised to see you.
But I had to work
Saturday and Sunday.
anyway because we had a tight deadline. We met our deadline.
Nice. Very good.
Everybody
Yay.
was super excited about that. Now that just means that they'll dump more work on us.
Darn.
So I'm
That's
going
the
to
way
take
it
a
is.
day off. Probably Wednesday,
Awesome.
I'm thinking.
Yeah,
So,
good.
Yeah.
Do it, man.
Right on.
Yeah, this
Wednesday
is
or
this
Friday,
is the
I
week.
can't decide. So
Right
I
on.
think Wednesday. But I'm doing good. Doing good.
Welcome,
well.
friend.
Doing well.
Doing well.
Doing well. Tracey White, how are you doing,
Also
sir?
doing well. My deadlines haven't changed, but we haven't got the data to start. So it's like, hey, we need our data to start the project on this date so we can end by this date. And it's like, where's our stuff? But no. Let's see.
That's my movie.
Yeah, just cruising along. Got a long drill weekend this coming weekend. Getting my first shot, COVID
good.
shot.
Yeah.
So
Do you have any idea which one it is?
I don't know. It's not the single dose. I can tell you that one. Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever the military ordered. That's what we're gonna get. People ask, "Are you afraid of it?" And I'm like, "No, no."
I think all the shots you've gotten from the military.
Yeah, over the last 31 years, it's I've gotten poked so many times.
You had one that was really rough. Was it anthrax or something?
Well, I've had 5 anthrax shots.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Good grief.
So yeah, 5 of them.
Wow. The anthrax.
Yeah, that's one that you have to kind of build on. So. And then we'll see if the COVID thing goes to boosters or like annual vaccination sort of thing, like the flu.
Yeah.
So
Surely there'll be a booster. That's what I'm thinking.
There will be, and don't call me Shirley.
Oh my goodness. And the corn continues with a little bit of cheese.
With a little bit of cheese. Corn and cheese. Johnny,
I can put some butter on that thing.
That's right.
Because I'm on a roll.
Cornbread.
to go with
Oh,
our bacon
seriously,
salad.
Cornbread sounds good.
Yeah, you know what? We need to say that we were. No, I don't.
We were talking about Monday
Monday having a big bacon plate.
bacon plate, and to make it look like a salad, we thought we would put bacon bits on it
And ranch dressing.
and ranch
A little
dressing.
ranch on the side.
Yes.
Some lard, perhaps. Just go all whole hog.
I think we should put some bacon dressing on it.
Bacon dressing on
Bacon
the
ranch
Bacon ranch.
dressing.
Oh,
That really is.
How was your day, Johnny?
Day is pretty good, of course, every Monday. It's so weird coming from having a church service in the school, and then literally the next day I'm there and there are people walking around. I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys don't know what we were doing here, do you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we had church here. You know, it's so weird. And just kind of walking by and seeing everything looking different. But today, you guys know I've been having some issues with my foot.
Yes.
Right? So I've been wearing, it's called Alpha Sole, and this kind of wrap thing around my foot at night. And I've been thinking, is this working? Is it not working? I don't know, but my foot hasn't really been hurting. And so today, I walked home from school.
Oh.
And
How's your foot?
Foot feels okay right now.
All right.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Good news.
When it usually
yeah.
sets in the
Yeah,
next day.
usually by now it would have been really hurting.
Yeah.
So
well, great.
made it home still wearing my same old tennis shoes. I do have inserts in them that help as well. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, that's a positive sign. Such a
That is
positive sign.
great.
So I'm going to get some new shoes. I'm going to get some new insoles that go in that will help with like plantar fasciitis, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice. It was nice to walk home. It's about 3 miles, I guess, something like that.
Cool.
To my house, but yeah.
Cool.
That is pretty awesome.
Oh, wait. So, yeah.
That's me. I'd like to go to sleep now.
Well, it's good to see you guys tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you guys just hopping in here every Monday just to talk
Yeah.
about it. Well, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yesterday was fun. We were just starting to talk about that a little bit.
We were.
2 in a row in-person gatherings at the school,
Yep.
but not this week.
Okay.
But it was great.
Well, I won't be there anyways.
Yeah.
Technical glitch.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So, being in that the new environment, we're still trying to work out the wrinkles in our technical setup, and I think the audio desync was just kind of an oversight, and not something that in other words, it's something that's easily overcome. Next time we do it, that'll be
It'll be better.
But the thing is, when we stream from here, I want to use that same setup going through OBS instead of straight from
Oh, yeah.
the ATEM like we were doing before. That way, the entire process is the same no matter where we go. So,
Yeah, that's a good idea. Keep the settings and that sort of thing.
you got it.
Now, I will say, I was nervous a little bit about full band in that room. I just wasn't sure if it might be too much. I kept joking around, kind of like being on a dive bar ball.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it sounded great in that room.
It did. It sounded
fantastic.
really
I
good.
mean, it wasn't like too loud. It was perfect in that regard. In the room. Now, all you saw was the off sync stream.
A little
You
weird.
may not be able. It's not the same experience.
Real heavy bottom end, so you got a little thumpiness in there. And
We were watching it online at the hotel, and the music part was fine.
Yeah.
It was a little bit. I mean, I'm sure it's a flatterer there, just because the one that's coming through our computer speakers and nothing else. But at the same time, it sounded fine.
Yeah.
And I do very much appreciate. I don't like the Waymaker song, but you guys did a great job with it.
Oh, good. Okay.
The way Leland sings it.
It's not a
What don't you like about it? I mean,
Yeah.
just
Talking
as a
about
discllaimer
song,
for everybody out
Waymaker
there,
from
it's
2016.
It's not the message of the song that you have a
The
problem.
lyrics are great.
Yeah.
The way the original artist sings it just drives me up the wall. Oh my gosh. I'm like, get to the end, please.
Well, the other thing,
Yeah, but I really like
we
the
actually
radio.
just shortened it a little.
That would
And the
help.
next time we do it, it will be shortened even more.
That definitely helps.
But it was,
Yeah.
the way, that song built though, it was great in the room.
well.
Most of the people in the room probably wasn't as familiar with it. I mean, you guys were.
I've got to say, I love the acoustic guitar. When it's keys and guitar, I love the acoustic guitar. When it's acoustic guitar and electric guitar, is really good.
Yeah.
Oh, the first song,
Really good.
That
Holy
was so
Water.
good. I thought that sounded really great.
Well, I
So-
tried, and again, I keep thinking about that because I'm not usually playing with a pick.
Mhm.
But what you were saying about those strings kept resonating in my head. It's like, he's right. Those steel strings on that particular guitar. Until mine's fixed. I'm used to, I like strumming without the pick, so I go right into a
Oh yeah.
finger picking kind of thing. But, so I was a little nervous. So I've been playing for several days now, just trying to get used to that. Because I really envisioned, there's my pick. Just that it would just because you got to hang on to that thing.
Yeah.
You do.
It's a different thing. So there was that. So I was a little nervous about that. But the goofiness of my notes, right? So I didn't explain it
Yes.
fully.
Oh,
And I know that you
yeah.
had to have been confused a little bit because I had, for the first Sunday in a long time, about a 15-minute window. Everything was set. Everybody was ready. You guys were moving into place. Everything was good. I was like, awesome. I'll go into the classroom, take my notes, and I'll sit there and I'll pray and I'll kind of get my head together and review. And, if there's any fresh something just last minute needs to go in there, or whatever. And so I did. I told Morey, I said, yep, I went. You going to go pray? Oh, no, I'm not going to pray. Ha, ha, ha. Just kidding. Yeah, of course I'm going to pray. And then, so we had talked about that. He goes, oh, all right, great. And I walked right into the room, closed the door, set the light to focused light, which was great. Went over to one of the little tables, sat down, got my phone, set it right there, just a little alarm so I don't, has the service already started? Set that right there, opened the portfolio and went, there are no notes.
Oh no.
Where are my notes? I was like, and I was racing through my mind. I must have left them. Maybe they fell out in the bag, or maybe they fell out where. Went back into place, started looking, couldn't find them. I was like, that's weird because I know they were in there. And so anyway, I ended up running into the hallway where I could try to get a hold of Michael, who had gone home to get the speaker,
Yeah.
the little speaker for the
Oh,
hallway.
the speaker for the hallway. Yeah, that's right.
And so I said, are you home yet? are you at the house still? He said, no, I'm at Iliff and Buckley. And I went, no, go ahead and get that music going. Because I went, I'll take Melissa's car.
Yeah.
So I'm racing down the hallway, and I'm thinking, I think I know where they are. They were printed this morning, and they're sitting on that chair. I know, right? How could this have happened? We were in a hurry to get out this morning, right? So anyway, I going down the hallway, Melissa, can I borrow your car? She was like, yeah, my keys are in here. Okay, I got to take them. So she's really like tossing me the keys. I'm making it down the hallway. I come by. I didn't even say anything to you guys because I was beelining to the car. You just see me moments after I told you I was going to pray. I'm like running to the car.
Maury's over there like, I guess God told him to take off.
I'm getting out of here.
Interesting message.
I can tell you at that point, I started praying.
It's like, God told me I need to get out of here. No. So anyway, so I go home and I had the notes from the past couple of weeks. They were together. I was like, did it get mixed up with this? Did I take from last week's when I took it out of the phone? Oh, what do I? Just my mind is just going bonkers. It wasn't where I thought it was. It wasn't in all the others. I'm like, so did the notes evaporate? What happened? But so that's when I called back, and moments later,
Tracy.
you went, and they were just sitting there on the music stand.
They were behind your book.
Yeah.
So in your defense, it was behind the book, not
music
in
book.
anything behind the music book. Yeah.
Yeah, and
so,
that's how I do it. I put the message notes here, and they're loose leaf here, and I had my white notebook with the music on it in front of that. And when I picked them up to go to the office, I thought I picked up the notes with it. I just picked it up, closed the portfolio, and they stayed. But I'm telling you, I started really going through that. Can I do this without my notes? I'm pretty sure I could do this without my. I know this. I'm prepared. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I can do it. God, this must be what you want. You want me to just go freestyling here today from the memory of the notes. But I'm glad that didn't happen, because the message would have truly taken a couple rabbit trails that way.
Well, that's okay too.
It was a good message. It was.
Depends on the rabbit, man.
It was. The disciples missed it,
The disciples.
and then they missed
Scene
it
one.
again.
Yeah. And then they started to get
They
it.
started to get it. But we often are just like that, where we just flat out miss it.
That's
But,
the truth.
Yeah, and understanding that He was God with us.
Yeah.
He is I am.
Yeah.
He is that authority. He is all of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, seeing him walk across on the water. You're right. There was a surprise miracle in the a bonus miracle in John.
Yeah.
It's true.
Because what's funny is Saturday night, that was our reading before we went to bed, was exactly that. And it because we're going through chronologically, it showed we read all the different versions of that. But yeah, Johnny, the bonus miracle was when he got in the boat, suddenly they were at the shore.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's in
Oh,
John.
yeah.
It's
It's like that's what I was trying to say, that those different camera angles, of the Gospels, and but they still all work together, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still they still all cohesively are there. It's just you didn't tell us about that part or that part. So when Jesus gets on, it's like once they're on the boat, they're all astounded. There's worship. And they're immediately at the shore.
Yeah.
That's the John version.
Yeah.
So that's the extra bonus miracle that doesn't get as much press, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but you think about that. That boat was about 3 miles out. That was in the Matthew version.
It was in the middle of the lake. We know that. So
It said,
one of them
says about 3 miles.
out. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
makes some sense. Yeah.
So I was telling Joy about this. One of the funniest trying to explain away the miracle of walking on the water is somebody came up with this idea that with the right weather conditions, you would have sheets of ice that would show up underneath the water. And I'm like, okay, so which is more miraculous? Which is easier, rather? Jesus just walking on the water because he's God, or he's guessing exactly where these sheets of ice are showing up and not slipping.
And not
slipping.
And remember, this is also really stormy weather as well.
Yeah.
So,
The wind's not blowing him over.
yep.
Just walking along.
You know what's kind of crazy about the scenario itself is talking about a lake and how it was so stormy on this lake. But we've actually, you remember when we were out at, what was that one out east?
Jackson Lake.
Jackson
or
Lake.
Lake Jackson, which
Right.
is by Fort Morgan.
It's not even that, it's not that big, as big of a lake that they were in. And there was solid, steady wind, and it was
Swamping the boat.
really, the waves were, it was scary.
Yeah.
It was, and we had to try to dock that boat in those waves and everything.
They had people catching the boats. And another group of people holding the dock in place because it was floating dock.
Really crazy. So
Imagine being in the middle of the night, too.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
that would be.
I have done that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we, my family, my wife's family, all the in-laws, the guys got together and did a camping trip up to the lake up in Nebraska or Wyoming or something. I don't know. We don't have good lakes here in Colorado for this kind of stuff. This was a big lake, and that night we'd left Stacy, my brother-in-law's boat, out on just kind of off of the water a little bit, or off the shore a little bit, because it was nice. And then suddenly this storm came up, and so we had to try and dock it while it's raining like crazy, it's windy like crazy, and in the middle of the night.
That's crazy.
It was not exactly what I'd call a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
It makes for a great story, though.
And imagine a first century boat.
Right?
They did not have life preservers.
Yeah, and they had to oar the whole thing. There was no motors and stuff like that. So that I could understand them straining at the oars. That's in that in that account, Mark's account. But I can see that. and
good old Peter.
Good old Peter.
Good old Peter.
And we didn't really talk about Peter.
We didn't talk about Peter.
And he's the one guy who almost got it quicker than the other guys got it. Because in one of the stories, he gets out of the boat and walks towards Jesus, and then he realizes everything's around him. But who does he call out for? He says, "Jesus, save me!"
Yeah,
so it's that moment he got it.
At least in that regard, for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I preached on that passage before too. It's been a little while, but yeah. So I didn't really. It's like okay, there are 4 gospels, and they're all from different angles. Mm-hmm. So I am going to bring a little bit from this and a little bit from that, but I also want to stick with the telling of that gospel, right?
The Mark version.
There's it works as God's word speaking to us as the Gospel of Mark without the Peter on the water story, and it gives us a whole new shade of understanding. So it's a weird dynamic. Sometimes I want to tell everything there is to tell about a certain thing, but you can't communicate that way, right? It's just an info dump of stuff, and it takes some of the power out of the way it was told and what we're supposed to get from that gospel. So but it is interesting for sure. Yeah, I love the story. I mean, I've actually preached on the Peter going out of the water 2 or 3 times over the years. And I love that story. So it was a challenge for me to not go into that.
You touched on the differences in the Gospels, and it's the fact that they're, and it's like the 4 of us. If we were to recall church yesterday, our stories would be different because we saw different things, we paid attention to different things, but they're all going to be accurate accounts.
You might not talk about me not having my notes.
Right.
You might talk about something that also happened.
I would have
we're talking about
Luke
the notes.
interpretation because
because
I wasn't there.
See, I would have the technical things that were going on, and we would talk about the notes. You would talk about the music or something like that.
And you would be more like the Luke. You're doing interviews with people because you were there, but you weren't quite there, but you're sort of.
So that makes all kinds of sense. When people understand that, because the world is told, the Bible's not accurate because there's things that just don't line up. Well, they do. Yeah. There's certain details that are different depending on who's telling the story, because that's kind of natural.
If they all said the exact same thing, we wouldn't trust them.
We wouldn't need 4 of them.
That's exactly
right. That too.
It also really makes it clear that it wasn't some guys who got together and said, "Okay, let's get our story straight." Right. Yeah. So it actually adds credibility to those to that account. So it's really kind of a brilliant, of course, way that God allowed this story to be told. So,
I like it.
And it's, I think it's neat. Jesus, after healing and preaching and some stuff, he tells the disciples get in the boat and go away because they were going to take him away as the king. But then he retreats to the mountain to pray. But remember, right before that, John, his cousin, had just been beheaded.
Yeah, just beheaded, exactly.
So, he had a lot of emotional things going on at that same time because remember, God as man. So
right.
he suffered a lot of the same things that we do. But even in that time, he still demonstrated his compassion and his love to make sure and dismiss, say goodbye, that sort of thing to the crowd. And then take a little time alone and then walk.
Yes.
To take a little more time alone.
Yeah.
And that was his pattern, too. He would, major ministry, then he would withdraw, and then he would back among the people, then he would
And
get
then it
alone.
was right back.
Yeah, and there's a great pattern rhythm of that for us, a healthy one, actually. That's not necessarily why he. Hopefully this helps everybody have a nice, healthy pattern in their living. But it is an interesting pattern to see that is very healthy.
Yeah.
We've got to withdraw, but then really engage.
I think so. He spent some time with his father, with the father.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely necessary for his ministry. Anyway.
Indeed.
Just saying.
Indeed.
Indeed. I thought you were about to segue because you're talking about God's love.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was. I'm going to blame it on the headache. But, he does demonstrate his tremendous love because he immediately after the disciples just didn't get it. And then the attempted walk on the water, all of a sudden they're on shore, and he immediately goes and starts healing again. Keep in mind, he hadn't had much sleep either. But his compassion and his tremendous love just reflects God's love, that he loved us so much. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, and we'll get to that later, Mark, but that whosoever believes in him will not perish but have eternal life. And Jesus demonstrates that constantly.
All the time.
Constantly in
Yes,
his ministry.
all the time.
And he calls for us to do that too.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, bro.
I'm
We,
done.
we like that
I'm off
constant
my-
reminder. Sorry about your
Always
head
bring it
hurting
in.
and everything, but
He said, sorry about your head.
your head. Sorry about your head.
My humongous cranium.
It's like an orange on a toothpick.
Leon's dad just always said, well, if Leon said my head hurts, and he would say, well, if I had a head like that, it hurts.
Oh,
It's just cold.
ouch. Yeah.
Oh. Anyway. But so there was a lot to get into in that message there too. So
There's a lot of needs. But it was just great reading it the night before and then you preaching on it the next day. That was cool.
That is nice. I like the little details about the, he wanted to just keep walking by, and how that's actually just kind of a good illustration of when God revealed Himself to people, and He's like, well, you can't look at me, so I'm just going to pass by, and you can see my back.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think he, you could read it that, but it's just kind of our way of reading it in English, He's just going to pass by. They saw me. Doggone it.
He wanted to pass him by.
Yeah, he wanted to.
A ghost! Oh, man. I should have ducked behind that wave.
I was hoping you guys wouldn't see me. It's like he didn't have to go out on the water. That's right. It's not like it was a shortcut necessarily to anywhere they were going.
Yeah.
He really, and I'm not the only one to come up with this. I mean, this is a lot of study behind that idea that as it's communicating that he wanted to pass by them.
Yeah.
You get the kind of inclination, because again, the same words, literally in the middle where he says, be of courage, I am, be of courage, it's I, as it's translated in most translations as it is I. Yeah. But it's literally it's the same words in John where he says, I am the bread of life. I am. So it's that connection to I am from the Old Testament. Yeah. And whenever he's saying that, he's making a declaration of his own deity, his own being God. So, yeah, he says that. It says it just like that. It's like, be of good courage, or be of courage, or be not afraid. I am. Yeah. I am he. I am here.
Yeah. Was that the Sea of Galilee? Was that, or was it a different? Right there.
I'd have to look at it again. They land in Gennesaret, so
Well,
Wherever
if they were in the middle of the lake and it was 3 miles, that was big.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
big enough to
Yeah,
be
okay,
a
real
sea.
fast, yeah.
So that means it was probably wide as well. So Jesus didn't have to walk right by them.
Yeah.
Oh, right. No,
So-
of course not.
Yeah, he could have walked over there.
So there.
Could have done whatever he wanted to
But
do.
then, but I believe that was a moment that was necessary.
right.
For sure.
Yeah.
A similar language shows up when they meet the women at the well in the Samaritan village. He says, Jesus had to go this way,
Yeah.
and he didn't have to go, and Jews didn't go that way. They
Right.
went around.
Right.
Yes. Right.
But there's this sense of planning and that desire to do something really, really amazing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, that's so cool.
This is driving me crazy. You guys keep talking.
That was
I didn't want
great.
to go blank on Monday.
I would have I'd kind of think about what maybe have been going through those guys' heads whenever this whole thing happened, and whenever he said, don't be afraid or take courage, I am. If it snapped, if they're like, you know what, that's right, we're good, if that's whatever it started. And I think you kind of pointed toward that it kind of maybe started clicking with them at that point. That, yeah, okay, this is he is.
and the Peter moment that does if that's John's gospel. I always forget where that one's at. Anyway, that's that same thing. It's that moment. Oh, he is getting it. Nope, he doesn't. Yep.
Right.
So many times with Peter.
Yes,
That's
so many
funny.
times with Peter.
All right, I'm just going to set this now. But anyway.
But I mean, but even that, I mean, it's us all the time. We know God is there, and we know that He loves us and cares for us and all that. But how many times it's like, we freak out anyway,
Oh, yeah.
You do.
all the time. I bet.
Next to not worrying, be strong and courageous is about the next most common command in the Bible. And when you look at one of the first times it shows up in Joshua, then God's He's not saying be strong and courageous because I'm going to send you against the enemies. It's be strong and courageous to live the way I tell you to.
Yes.
And that Jesus is saying the same thing. Just do what I tell you.
Yeah.
So,
And I am with you.
exactly.
How awesome would the world be if we all just treated each other like Jesus said to treat each other?
Oh, man, can you imagine?
Oh,
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Well, we'll be in a place like that eventually.
That's right.
Of course we will.
That's right.
We'll keep trying to make it happen while we're here.
You got it.
Well, I want to mention one other thing that is at the end. So here's the last thing.
Mention it.
Oh well, it was just a reminder that there are challenges. We were talking about the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and sometimes there are challenges because on a quick reading, and particularly if you're trying to find something to argue about, there are certain things that make you go, "Wait, was it this or was it this?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if you are someone who is seeking the truth and you dig a little deeper, do a little bit more study, and really begin to dig into them, you'll begin to see, oh, these do work together. Oh, that's not what I thought when I read it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people don't do that. But I think there are things in the Bible that God has made that way on purpose, because you can read surface level things in the Bible and you will get amazing truth.
Yeah.
But you can keep reading and keep digging the rest of your life. I think there's some things in there God wants us to go, wait a minute. And He wants us to dig a little more, and He wants us to pursue it. But I just wanted to share that on Sunday because we live in the world of the internet, and there are people out there who are hostile to the gospel and hostile to the Bible, and they will bring these challenges. And if we're not aware of some of those things, it might cause us to have challenges to our own faith. So I wanted to make sure, even as we're talking about Mark, and there'll be more in the Gospel of Mark like that, particularly near the end. But the three endings, the two endings through. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that particularly in this one, where in Mark, it looks like when you first read it that they are just hardened in their heart.
Right.
And in Matthew, the response looks like they're astonished in worship. But if you read it properly and see, this is not talking about this, it's talking about that. And they're astonished now.
Right.
Because they had been hardened
Yeah.
in their heart because of the bread.
Right.
But anyway, that took a while. I did a lot of chewing on that one actually for past couple of months now. Because I just was going through this, preparing this. Wait a minute. Because then I would find people online and they say, yeah, well, this says this and this says this. So they're obviously,
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, my faith is even stronger the more I dig into the Word. And I also find scholars and people who, most of the questions that we have and most of the things that you see in the Bible, someone has already wrestled with. Yes. And there's an answer out there. All right, I'll leave it at that. All right, anything else about yesterday before we close her down tonight?
I think we're running out of time.
Numbers moving? Yeah, numbers are still moving.
Numbers still moving. All right. Well, hey, you know what? You can join us every Sunday at 10 o'clock, either online or sometimes in person, as we're kind of rolling that out into this year. You can find us on Facebook, Compass Church Colorado, and you can discover more at compassdenver.com. We'd love to have you as our guest this Sunday. All right, guys, final words.
Love you guys. Love everyone out there, too.
Love you guys. Likewise.
Peace, y'all.
Grace and peace to you. That's all we have for tonight, and we are out.
We are out.
We are out.